back to Inside Eastern Utah. I'm your host, Scotty Draper. In the past segment, we were speaking with representatives from Pinnacle High School about some of the happenings going on with their Project Hope. And now we are here with Principal Bruce Bean from Carbon High. He's been the principal there for 7 years now.
7 years.
7 golden years, right?
Yeah, you know what? It's a good job. It's fun.
Yes, and they keep you young over there, right?
Yeah, you have to act like them.
Yeah, he's really like 110. You just don't know because
my wife says I act just like a 15-year-old.
Well, give us a little bit of your background. What were you doing before you became principal?
Well, let's start at the beginning. I'm from Idaho. My wife and I are from there. We went to school at Utah State. Aggies all the way. That's the only real school in Utah.
We're not biased at all.
Anyway. There was a lot of job opportunities in 1987. I came here. I started teaching at Mount Harmon. I was planning
What were you teaching?
I was teaching PE and some science, and I coached football. And then halfway through football season, the principal says, "Oh, you want to coach wrestling?" And I don't know anything, but I had some good help, you know. And I met Coach Jorgensen for the first time on the football field, and that was interesting. I love Coach, but our whole intents and purposes was be here 3-4 years, get some experience, and move. And we are the classic. My wife didn't cry when she came to Carbon County because we're from a small town in Idaho, but we're like, oh, this is different. And 31 and a half years later, we're still here. So
something struck, right?
We've had opportunities, and it just so I was at Mount Harmon for a few years, moved up to the high school and coached with Coach Gressman. I coached some football, and then had the principal say, "Well, you know how to coach girls, so you're now the volleyball coach." And I was teaching science. You
didn't know you were such a good coach and so well versed.
Exactly, and I'm like, okay. And I would never, sorry guys, I would never look back. I loved coaching the girls. They've worked so hard, and that was what I did for a lot of years. And I think I was at the high school at like 94 was my first year. And now it's 2018, and
here you are still.
I've been a vice principal for a couple of years, then a couple of years principal at Mount Harmon. And that's a battleground, those junior high kids. But we kind of mentioned before, you're almost like kids. You have to be a little bit teenagerish. Otherwise, you'll drive them crazy, and they'll drive you crazy. But I love it. It's good.
Great.
Good school.
And now we're almost through a whole nother year.
Yes.
I mean, we're into April. There's going to be testing coming up, graduation. Everyone's trying to fly by the seat of their pants and just get through it this last month, right?
That's exactly right. The day after, today we just got back from spring break, and it's like nobody had ever been to school before.
It's like, what is this?
Kids are wandering. Okay, we're in an odd schedule, even schedule, whatever, and parents and teachers are trying to keep seniors going. These last few weeks, and then the younger kids. The whole testing business. Here's my philosophy. Maybe if the superintendent's watching, maybe turn away right now. But you know what you do? It's kind of like coaching. You do the best you got. You do what you can do, and you get better at what you can do. And if you have good relationships with the kids, and you can get that through in the classroom, the kids will respond. Students respond to that. And we do need to make sure that they're prepared, but the SAGE tests, we don't really know what's ever going to be on them, and so you just do the best you can with what we have in the classroom, and we have some great teachers up there. Some of them have retired since you've been there, but we have great teachers. They work hard. The kids are good. And we had, I'll just sum this up, when we talk about testing, we had I don't know what's the word, kind of a celebration in the fall about where we were at with our testing and our academics at Carbon. and because sometimes they get overshadowed with extracurricular and everything, but for the most part, we had to celebrate because we were in the top 20 in the state.
Which is impressive.
It
I mean, they
is.
track all the schools throughout the state
They do,
with that testing.
with growth, with proficiency, and we're working hard. Our school grade was a B, a nice high B kind of a thing, which doesn't really matter here nor there, but it's kind of a pride factor. We're working hard on our ACTs because if we had 1 point higher with our ACTs, we would have been an A school, one of like about 17 high schools in the state. So I told the kids, and I've told parents that sometimes Carbon County, like, well, you're from Carbon County. And after 31 and a half years living here, I just look at the students and say, you don't have to take a back seat to anybody.
Of course.
Academically. We have kids who get scholarships to any school they want to go to.
Oh, yeah.
They get accepted to any school. Plus, and I have to give a shout out to Utah State, USU Eastern, because of our ability to have concurrent enrollment that fits a lot of kids, CTE, and we have kids that just excel in welding, and we have kids finishing their CNAs.
Yes, there's really a wealth of opportunities. I mean, we might be a small town, but with the partnership with the university and all of the options, there's really a lot to work with.
It's fun to look at a kid and say, you know what, you don't necessarily have to do that 4-year bachelor degree. Here's some other options, and like, oh, and it's good employment. It's great employment, with some certifications, with some things.
Yes.
So there you go.
And I think that that's kind of what the high schools tried to focus on throughout the years too, is getting those kids some additional education in the areas they're interested in, so that they can start early. If they know, hey, I'm a junior and I know I want to go into welding, well, here we have something for you. We're gonna partner up with the university, and we're gonna get you rolling now.
And then we have kids who don't have the background with that, and they'll come into my office and they'll look at a trophy for the robotics club. We have robotics.
What?
Yeah, we can do that. And so that's opening up a lot of opportunities for students, and our community sponsorships.
Yes.
They're coming in, I don't want to name names because I'll forget.
Yeah, there's too many to list.
But they come in and say, we would like to expose your students to this job, this technical field.
Well, I love that you're giving that real world experience. I mean, there's the classroom setting, which is obviously necessary, but going kind of above and beyond that. And we spoke a little bit about extracurriculars. I think something that has been kind of a hot topic is obviously sports, in particular the baseball, softball field.
It's been a work in process.
That has been a long process. Can you tell me how it started and how long ago?
Well, I can tell you that anything that has to go, and I'm trying to be politically correct here, anything that has to go through multiple approvals, at any given time, somebody can say, well, I have a question about this, which takes everything back a step, which is okay. You know, to have somebody say, well, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, you want to do it right.
You want to do it right. And then when you have the engineers and architects come in and say, well, we have a problem. It's been ignored for 20 years, but we have to solve this, like drainage, those kind of things.
Gotta make it work.
But we got there. And it was basically a stereotypic, everybody doing their job and coming together to work hard and get it done. The Price City said, yeah, let's look at a proposal, a partnership with this. It's going to be good for them, it's good for the high school, and it's going to be exciting. And I think, based upon our last meeting with architects, engineers, they could be, I'm just going to say it, I think they're going to talk to the National Guard to come in and do some demolition and some excavating.
Because they have a lot of the
really soon.
And,
so they'll start to be seeing that. So people who have been driving by the baseball field and looking at it, they don't need to call me and say, how come you're letting the baseball field go to pot? But It's just that we knew that this was going to happen, so we didn't want to put a lot of money into it that was going to go through demolition 6 months later or a year later.
Yeah, no sense in
So,
keeping repairing.
It's
and
going to be an
spending all kinds of money.
awesome facility. We have one of the best football stadiums. When football teams come to play, especially if they're not familiar with Carbon County, they look on a Friday night in August or September, October, and see the venue, and it fits football. It's going to be the same with baseball. And I'm pushing, we're looking at either remodeling, a major remodel of the high school. It's 60 years old.
Yeah, it's getting up there a little bit.
And so I think that's the next step, is taking a look at that.
And of course, you always got to consider budgets and whatnot. I mean, that's probably one of the...
When you make $1 million, come back and you can donate it.
Right?
And say, this is the Scotty Draper wing.
You got it. I'll do it. Oh, except for I want at least like half the school.
Okay.
I need more than 1 week. No. So what are some of the things you guys are looking forward to next year? Anything in particular? I mean, summer will obviously be some catch-up work and trying to get ready for the new year, but...
Right now, our focus is let's finish this up. But we have some things that we've been doing academically.
Yeah.
We had a major change about 4 or 5 years ago. Change of schedule, brought the freshmen up.
Right after I left, everything happened.
Exactly. And we're still getting better at what we're doing. And that's really what we're trying to do. I know the superintendent, the district has some very good support with some of the things we're trying to do academically. And I guess I'm sounding like an old coach again, just get better at what we're doing.
Yes.
Because we're on the right path. When I go to principal meetings and conferences, I can sit back and go, we are doing some really good things.
Yeah, we're doing it.
We don't need a major overhaul, but we need to get better at what we're doing.
Yeah, there's always room to improve.
That's what it is.
And for those that don't know, you guys got a newer superintendent here within the past year.
Just this year, Lance.
Yes. And so that always brings in new ideas and new opportunities and everything.
Our district is in good hands.
Yes. Great guy.
Absolutely. We lost a good superintendent, and we got an excellent superintendent to replace, so that we're good.
Yes. Well, we certainly appreciate you joining us for a few minutes to kind of give us an update, and we wish you luck on these last few weeks. I'm sure you're kind of in the same mode as everyone else.
And we're looking forward to graduation.
Yes.
May 25th.
May 25th is on the horizon.
Yep.
Some people are counting down the days, right? Those seniors are excited.
They are.
Well, thank you so much, Bruce, for
Thank you,
taking a
Scotty.
few minutes with us. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Inside Eastern Utah. Stay tuned. More of your favorite programming is coming up on ETV Channel 10.